For me, setting up a knife, laying this way, tip one way, I can set it up. I can picture the process the same as I do it with the wicked edge with the vertical knife. You would set it up. You would set the angle. And then you would rotate it to use it. Well, if the side is different, then you have to set the angle again. And then if you want to rotate it, then you have to set the side and set the angle again. That's what I saw with that. And that's why I was drawn to Wicked Edge, because of the duality. I'm going to beat it to death, the duality, because it's double. It's the same type of setup working with the Pythagorean theorem in a triangle, but you're working with a vertical post, and you have the guide rod coming off of it. It's on a small base, and then you flip-flop the knife. This is a 10-inch knife. The sweet spot led me to clamp it off center. This is way out of whack. Most of those other sharpeners that we're talking about compared to Wicked Edge is vertical, those are horizontal. When you flip them, they're only a certain height up off of the table, so I don't know how you have to have room to flip it. I'm not going to say that's a problem, but I can look at it and question, is it going to be a problem? This is not a problem because it's up in the air. The problem then becomes front and back and side to side. Now, because of the duality, we're doing everything twice, so it's twice as expensive. There's twice as many adjusters. There's twice as many guide rods. You're using double stones, so everything, because of the duality, is more expensive. It's a bigger investment. But at the same time, when you're working this side and working this side, and each side can be worked independently, but simultaneously, that to me seems like a real big advantage. And the other thing is that if you're working a V-grind knife that is symmetrical, that the angle is the same on both sides, by working with duality and working with your cube, you can actually see what you're doing on this side, how it affects that side, and you can verify, because of how you're setting your angles relative to that clamp knife, you're able to verify that indeed that knife is vertical. Whereas when you're starting like this, and then you're going like this, and then you're coming back like this, and then each time in between, in order to balance that edge, because my sharpening method with Wicked Edge allows me to work both sides alternatingly, but simultaneously. In other words, I work this, I work this, I work this, I work this, without having a flip-flop, when it seems to me that if I was working one side, I would be putting all my effort on that side. And then I'm done. And then I say, well, let me go and do the other side. So I flip it over, and then I do that. But when I'm working vertical and I'm like this, I have my scope here, I have my scope here. If I do something here that I don't like, I immediately can pick up that stone, and I can see the backside of the knife. When I work this, I can see the backside. So the process to me, because I've done it, it just seems practical, it seems effective, it seems efficient. I'm thinking about how I would do that same process with that attention to detail and that precision on a knife that is horizontal. And it just seems like I would have to do one side, flip the knife, and then reset the angle and do another side. And then flip it, because I want to keep the edge balanced. Even a single-sided knife where you do most of your work on one side, you still have a slight back bevel that you have to do something. And you don't want to do all of this And at the end, do this, because what you do on this affects that. You guys had our particular sharpeners understand we want to do balance. The first experience that I can remember with sharpening was sitting on that bumper chair at the barber shop and the barber going with the straight razor that he used to finish up back here, put that hot cream and the paper on there because he sharpened both sides. And that's a guy that was cutting my neck and shaving my hair, and it impressed upon me that he went back and forth, one side, then the other. So I want to sharpen my knives like that. I want to sharpen one side, then the other. We use a steel, zip, 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 zip. We use a strop. It's that one side, then the other. So that's why Wicked Edge got me, because I could do one side, then the other. The duality.